Hello YouTubers, it's Johnny Valentine with Gain Solar bringing you another tour of a prepper solar setup. So here we go. I'm going to take you on a tour. We're wrapping up this job and I want to show you guys a couple of things we did just as we go through the end of this job. This job is in an undisclosed location, of course, and it's for a new construction for a homeowner. Please excuse the wind noise, shaky camera. Any comments like that, we don't need them on this channel. This is strictly educational stuff for you guys out there that are trying to do your own solar. Kind of show you how we do it. So the solar array was 42 panels. There were 4 strings of 9 that go to the solar, and then 1 string of 6 that goes to the AC/DC 12 solar mini split air conditioner. Here's our switch gear for our solar array. So we've got the 3 pipes coming down for the 3 solar circuits. And that's in EMT up into the attic, and then it goes into a metal flexible conduit and comes out of the ridge vent underneath the ridge cap. He didn't want any roof penetrations. As you can see, I've kind of got my AC/DC 12 locked out. These are high voltage DC disconnects. This disconnect right here, it's got some pretty awesome specs. These are the same disconnects that come on a lot of grid tie inverters. So that's the IMO SI25 PEL64R-4. It's a 25 amp, 600 volt switch. It shows you the different, what it can do. So it can do 2 poles, it can do 4 poles, 25 amps, 500 volts. We don't ever go above 500 volts usually anyway. But you can see it's rated up to 1500 volts. So this is an awesome switch, comes from Austria, and it's actually the switch that's on the side of a lot of grid tie inverters. We've used these a lot. These boxes that they come on are a little delicate, but I've figured out good ways to mount them where they feel very solid, and haven't had any problems with these switches. They've had they've had 0 failures, which is something that IMO's got a lot of good solar products for doing stuff. So you don't have to spend a ton of money on a DC switch if you don't want to. Those switches are about $42 each. So basically what happens is we come down with our DC circuits, we go into our switches, and then we come out of our switches, and we use the opportunity to transition to a bigger wire because we've got a long way to go. We go up through this big pipe. We're in number 6 now, and we're coming down, and that's our pull box for our 300-foot pole. And we did pull PV wire all the way down through those pipes. When we can, we like to pull PV wire all the way through because that's just one less connection. I don't like to transition on the roof. When you transition on the roof, you start making a lot of DC connections. You're dealing with DC, it's not like AC where you can just throw a wire nut on it. A high voltage DC connection is pretty, not something to be messed with. So you're gonna wanna use some kind of a mechanical connector. You can always, if you're going to transition a DC circuit, you can always use the MC4 connectors or the connectors for solar, but you're not always connecting PV wire to PV wire. So, you know, you could use sometimes you use split bolts, you rubber tape, and you know, there's a way to do a split bolt. If you Google split bolts, you use rubber tape and you use regular tape, and it takes a little while to make a split bolt up, but you can use that for a DC, and that's a copper to copper to copper connection. There's no aluminum in there, and I've actually been told by midnight before those are legit. Like I said, I don't recommend using wire nuts. Polaris lugs or insulated terminal blocks, it's kind of what they're called, but if you look up a Polaris lug or an ILSCO insulated terminal block, something like that works pretty good. Now that there is aluminum bus bar encased in plastic, so I want to be a little bit careful because you do have 2 different metals there, but we do use those. However, I've seen some of them melted. So let me take you over here to the job. So I just walked all the way from the building to the job site, and we're entering into, Abraham's been cleaning up a little bit, but PV wire, anyone? It's hard not to create some waste on a job, so we're trying to pack up and get out of here. This has been a heck of a job. And there he is.
Hey guys.
We just had a big snack.
Yeah, we had a nice snack.
So here's where they come into the pull box. Abraham made this up. These are some really cool transition blocks that we've been using. They've got a clear cover on them. The cover opens up and you can mount them to the box. I really like these I really like using these when I can. Polaris lugs are good too, but when you mount something like that to the box, it's not floating around in the box. If somebody gets into your box later and starts monkeying around, you don't have to worry about the fact that they nudged the Polaris lug wrong or something. So that is a Faraz Shamut. What are they called?
Faraz Shamuts.
What are they? I think they're called transition blocks. So you can transition from one type of wire to another in that. But that's our pull box. As you can see, we did a video earlier on the pull 4-inch conduit. That was nice to have it. And we're in EMT. Yes, we already have a disconnect, but we're staying in a metal conduit type. We got some flex for our AC circuit, and then our conduit run all the way over to our solar. So here's Engineer 775. Still making her up, boss. We come in here like a band of gypsies and just kind of touch down and go nuts. Mech room till we can't see straight. Excuse the Romax Medusa. That's the electricians. This is a new construction, but we've got in here during the rough-in phase and busted out our system. So change my eyewear here and tell you what we've got going on. Huh? Oh, sure.
It's in limited power to home.
All right, so gotta get this hat off first. Should get the hat on.
Oh, these dang phones, sorry.
So the solar comes in right here. These are our two solar circuits. They're coming in, they're going straight in the solar. There's a disconnect on the bottom of the solar. That's where we cut it off. From here, our output and our input to our solar, this is our AC output and input, they go down and they go out to the disconnect. So the utility can cut it off if they want to. Firefighters and utility, they like to have disconnects so that they can take power off the house. And so that's what that is. And then this is a bypass. So then the power comes back from the output of the solar, goes into this. On one side of this transfer switch is grid power. On the other side is the output for the solar. And then the transfer switch feeds to the critical load panel. That allows us to bypass the solar if we ever have to. This is just a big old gutter. And we started doing our systems like this when we met Jason Andrade, West Coast Sustainables.
You still giving him all the credit?
Yeah, man.
No, I'm just messing. Hey, Jason.
But he told us how to do jobs like this. It's really helped us. This is a PCC 200 partial charge carbon battery. This is the battery that SolarArc sells, and fits right into our styling and clean battery rack. So we've been doing a bunch of these jobs. If you're watching our videos or Engineer 775's videos, you've seen a few of these, but it never hurts to show one again.
There's a lot of people that want to try it themselves, and we can help you do that.
Yep. And if you want us to come do this job for you, we'd be happy to come do it. What's our record as far as travel goes now? 6 hours?
16 hours.
16
Oh,
hours.
together, it's 8 hours.
8 hours
We-
so far. This has gone so far. So wrapping her up. We turned on the SolarArc. We're going to go ahead and update it. If you haven't used these SolarArc inverters or come in contact with them yet, they came from a relatively new company and kind of came out of nowhere, but they have been awesome. Haven't had very many problems at all with them. Just a little bit of updates here and there, but they've worked really well, and they have a very nice interface. As you can see just about anything you want to see when you hit that button. And they're just not that hard to use. Easy to program. We used Axitec 300s on this job. Panels, we don't really get hung up on panels. A lot of people do. Seems like a lot of DIYers that I buy systems from, they're just like, oh, they gotta have the mono, or they gotta have this panel or that panel. I don't really think that's a big issue. Do you, boss?
No, but we do use, these are premium panels. These are German, nice solar panels. So, I mean, we don't use junk.
No, we don't ever use junk. We use premium panels, but as far as getting super hung up on your panels,
No.
I wouldn't do that. They're all basically the same, made by the same couple of factories or the same couple of machines. So
Get hung up on your battery.
yeah, get hung up on your battery, your inverter, the way that you wire everything, the way that it's installed. There's lots of things to get hung up on, but that's not one of them. So thanks for watching as always. If you like these kind of videos, you can like and subscribe. This is Johnny Valentine with Gain Solar, signing out. Yeah, do it.